Good morning. In this video, I'm going to speak about how I was sexually abused as a child and as a parent. And for the parents out there, what signs to look for if your child is being sexually abused. Also, maybe some tips and some ways to avoid your children being sexually abused. In the description, I'm gonna post some help hotlines as well as some websites that can help people that's been sexually abused in their past. Hopefully, we can't stop it, God forbid. It's gonna be hard to actually eradicate sexual abuse, molestation, but we could try to prevent it as best we can. So in a prior video, I spoke about being molested by a babysitter. She was in her late teens, early 20s. I was about 8 to 10 years old. And I guess, my mom, I grew up in a single parent household. My mom was too busy living her life to even notice changes within me, my personality wise, my actions, etc. My grandmother's a little bit too old to understand what was going on with me. Some of my changes were, actually, before I get into that, I also spoke about my mom's active sex life with multiple men that I used to walk in on. So that didn't help. But I definitely had some changes in my personality. I was more, I guess, reclusive. I was more to myself. I was already, I already had no brothers and sisters, so I was already to myself, but I became more of an introvert. So really stayed to myself a lot, just, staying in my room, playing with my toys, stuff like that. Just didn't really have much going on when it came to being social, and I think that's definitely a result of being molested. So it was a crazy childhood for me. I wouldn't say it was nowhere near the best childhood, but of course, like anything else, there's people out there that had it worse than me, so I can't complain too much, because as bad as we have it sometimes, there's always people out there that's way worse off than we are. So with that being said, we have to, I'm a parent of one. My daughter's now 24. She'll be 25 on my 50th birthday, which is June 28th. And, I'm ashamed to say that I don't know if my daughter has ever been molested or sexually abused. And it's not because I wasn't attentive, but I put her in harm's way at times. Let's just say when I was growing up, my mom, she wouldn't allow me to go to friends' houses. She wouldn't allow me to spend the night at anyone's house until I turned damn near 18. But it was already too late, and she never knew that. Now, being a young parent, and I wasn't too young. I had my daughter at 25, but you get conflicted between being too strict and just strict enough. So I allowed my daughter to spend the night at friends' houses, little sleepovers and stuff like that. And you never know what's going on in someone else's house. I remember when she got in her teenage years, 17, 17, she would spend the night at a friend's house or go to parties and stuff like, well, not really parties, but spend the night at a friend's house. And that friend, their parents were very, let's say, lackadaisical. I don't want to say they weren't caring, but they were much more lenient than I was. And come to find out, they would allow the girls to go hang out at someone else's house. So I'm thinking my daughter's in one place, and literally she was in another place. And then I found out in that place that she was at, that parent was allowing the kids to drink alcohol. So once I found that out, I shut that shit down. But who knows how long that was going on, before I found out. So that's a major issue. You have no idea what's going on in someone else's house and the people that's in it, adult or not. So with that being said, who knows if my daughter was ever put in a position where she was sexually abused or molested, and thinking about it now as a 49-year-old, it really hurts my heart not to know, and to know that I put her in that position. Hopefully, thank God she wasn't. But like I said in a prior video, my mom is 76 years old, and she still has no idea I was molested 40 years ago, 41 years ago, so, and I never truly got help. I'm using YouTube as a therapeutic tool to come to terms with how I am as a person. So that's it's a little disheartening to not know, and do you, as a parent, even though it's 20, my daughter's 24, about to be 25, should I just ask her? Should I just come out and ask her, have you ever been sexually molested? Have you been sexually abused? How do you start that conversation? I used to have a fairly close relationship with my daughter. Now it's not as close, which is another story within itself. But, I'm, of course, hoping to get that closeness back. And if and when I do, how do I have that conversation? I think maybe I should start with my own experiences. Of course, she doesn't know that I've been sexually abused. Maybe one day she'll come across this YouTube page, but should I allow her to find out in that manner? Please comment. Let me know. How do you feel? Please give me some advice if you can. I know there's some psychologists out there, some therapists out there. Even if you're a hood therapist, hood psychologist, you have no formal education, no degree in the matter, but everybody has an opinion. So I'm very open to it, you know. So I just wanted to put it out there that this help for us people that's been living with personal trauma as a young age and throughout our lives. And I'm definitely gonna, once again, I'm gonna post some numbers for people to call. And it's been a little bit over 10 minutes. So if you want to help out as well, you know, share it. Share this video. Hopefully it doesn't get taken down on YouTube, because we all know, you know, they have their policies and procedures. I don't know if I crossed the line by saying sexually abused. I know the R word, you know, is one of those major words that will get your page, you know, stricken or taken down or whatever. But I don't know about the others. But if it stays up for as long as it's up, please share. You know, check out my other video with the full story of what I went through and how it shaped me into becoming who I am. You know, so thank you again. Please like, subscribe, and share. God bless.